Five special Liberal Democrat leader talk about stolen cars. MP
investigated and solved. Burglaries aren't getting investigated and solved. And I'm afraid the Conservatives are very
UK
complacent
2024.
when it comes to crime. Liberal Democrats have been knocking on a record number of doors this year ahead of the local elections on May the 2nd and the general election, which we expect later this year. People have been telling us about their concerns about the NHS, about the cost of living, but also about crime. So people's experience of crime, whether it's burglaries, thefts, car thefts, antisocial behaviour, are really real, and they feel the Conservatives haven't done enough. So our commitment, whether it's on dealing with the shortage of detectives or getting more community police in our neighbourhoods, is one that I think is right for the problems we face.
And how many years do you think, or months, would it take to fill those vacancies, those missing 7,000 detectives?
Oh, it would take some time. It's not something that can be done overnight, I regret. But we need a full-scale approach to the problems in our criminal justice system. So I could also go on about the huge backlogs in our courts, because even when we catch and find criminals, at the moment, the victims have to wait sometimes several years, even in serious offences, before the perpetrator is brought to justice. So I'm afraid the Conservatives have been asleep in the wheel when it comes to crime in all aspects of tackling crime, deterring criminals and catching them.
Wow,
the
that's
government has
bad.
actually said, having looked at what you're announcing today, saying that you continue to snipe from the sidelines without offering a plan. What would you say to that?
Well, I think your listeners have heard the plan already. The shortage of detectives is appalling. It's been getting worse under the Conservatives. And the Conservatives have cut...
One of my sister Laura's friends is Georgina's a detective in London.
Officers in the community. And so I'm afraid we've been going backwards for some years.
Georgina.
And the fact that they trot out these lines show that they're completely out of touch. We feel they're taking people for granted. They don't really understand what's going on.
They are
in
indeed.
Our communities up and down
of course
the
they
country.
are.
And voters on May the 2nd have a chance, whether it's on their local elections or whether it's on the elections for police and crime commissions.
I'm voting for you, mate, the local elections.
To send a Conservative message. So we're not going to accept this anymore.
Of course we're not.
When it comes to this failure to deal with crime properly, or whether it's the problems in our health service, the cost of living...
The scandal this government with car thefts and stuff going on.
It's time for the Conservatives to go.
Aye, certainly, mate.
It's actually quite some time since we've been able to talk to you here on BBC Breakfast, so there are a number of other big stories that are going on at the moment I do want to talk to you about. I'm going to start with the situation in the Middle East and just get your response
Iran and Israel.
to those strikes by Iran against Israel at the weekend.
Well, they were shocking, and Liberal Democrats joined all the other parties to condemn them in the strongest possible way. I was pleased to see the RAF, our brave pilots, involved in defending Israel.
That's what they're paid for.
Against this appalling attacks. And it really is important that we stand...
It's amazing, we've got an RAF, we haven't got much of an army, have we, guys?
We do have one, because I raised this in the House with the Prime Minister yesterday. We are worried about...
Scary.
What, next steps the Netanyahu government will take. It's absolutely vital that they are restrained and they take this as a win, as I think President Biden said, and that there is no retaliation, because there is a real danger this will escalate. And if we see a war across the whole of the region, that will be shocking. Many people will die, and it will cause just untold suffering.
And petrol prices will go up.
Sure there's no escalation here, and that should be the top priority.
And effect on our knock-on effect on our economy.
Who are friends of Israel.
In America and
Israel
the UK.
have the right to take further action, though?
Well, Israel always has the right to defend herself, but how they do that needs to be done in the smart way as well as a tough way. And I think the smart way now is to say, they defended very successfully. It's a big win. Iran failed, and let's not result in actions that cause escalation.
We know, don't we, moving on now to our lead story today, which is...
It's a slippery slope, guys, this government's going down.
To debate for the first time today government plans that will make it...
Bye-bye, Mr. Rishi Sunak.
...turning 15 to...
This July or October general election.
...to buy tobacco products. Will you be supporting the government on this?
Yeah, I've decided to vote for this phased ban. I've seen the health impacts of smoking tobacco. There's no good outcome. It's always bad. It's the leading cause of prevention.
There's a lot of bad stuff out there, mate. Chocolate, crisps.
And if you look at cancer, which is a big issue for the Democrats in the election campaign, we're trying to put forward policies to cut cancer waiting times and to reduce cancer deaths. And if you're serious about that, you've got to, I think, support.
Some people get cancer without smoking though.
I lost both
My
my
teacher, Mr.
parents to
McDonald, got
cancer
cancer,
as
lung
a
cancer.
youngster.
Literally.
My father died at 4, my
So
mother
this stress, and sometimes it's related to
15.
stress.
They weren't
Just
actually
to warn you
smoking
guys.
related.
More about
But when
not
you
smoking.
see
Smoking
how
doesn't
many
cause it.
people, how many
Stress
children
could cause it.
lose their parents
So
due to
do what you
smoking-related
believe in. What you
illness,
believe in.
I think it's really important we take this far more seriously. And I accept that
It's just like the tax for low resistance zone. Simple as that.
Leader of the Liberal Democrats. I know
Yes, smoking's not good for your health, but my granddad lived 85 years and smoked. That tells you something, doesn't it?
On this case, the evidence is.
Depends on your body, I guess, who you
I
are.
hope this bill passes today.
Let's move on now to the Post Office inquiry, something we have been following very, very closely here on this programme. You were business minister back in 2010, I believe, when at that time Postmaster Alan Bates wrote to you. You had oversight of the Post Office at that time. He first contacted you in 2010. It took you 5 months to meet him. Considering what has happened since then and all the information that has come to light, do you think you maybe owe him a face-to-face apology for what you did at the time?
Well, I think Mr. Bates is a hero. What's happened to sub-postmasters is outrageous. I actually was the first Post Office minister to meet Alan Bates, I believe. And originally, 11 days into office, I was told it wasn't for me to meet him. The Post Office is run at arm's length to the government, and we weren't involved in day-to-day matters.
That was David Cameron's time.
When I wrote that letter 11 days into office, he was quite annoyed. And when I read his letter, which shows all the concerns that you described, I decided that I should meet him. And when I did meet him, I put all his points that he made to Post Office executives and to officials. And they said that his main point, he believed there was remote access to the Horizon systems. They told me that was not true, and the IT systems that they had been independently verified. I wish I'd seen through the lies of the Post Office executives, just as I'm sure all ministers.
You knew it, mate. You knew there was something going on. You just didn't want to act because you're thinking about your own career. Simple as that, because you're looking to the future. Come on, be honest.
I'm just delighted that at long last,
be honest.
There is a chance of justice. It's been delayed far too long, and what we're campaigning for now.
Your party had a coalition with David Cameron. Nick Clegg should,
fairly and generously to all the
no excuses.
Who've been affected.
Okay, let me just remind you of a quote from Alan Bates from that letter that you've mentioned there.
Here we go.
We've seen at the Post Office inquiry last week, and this is what he said to you. He says, "You have adopted an arm's length relationship that you have allowed a once great institution to be asset stripped by little more than thugs in suits. You've enabled them to carry on with impunity, regardless of the human misery and suffering they inflict."
Well, I'd been in Post
for
months when he wrote that second letter to me, and it was because of his letter that I decided to meet him. I obviously wasn't involved when the Horizon system was originally brought in.
Digging out a hole here.
10 years before.
He's digging himself out a hole.
And his letter moved me. And that's why I met him and listened to him. And when I reflect on that, I'm just so angry that the Post Office executive, despite
He's in his colours, isn't he? He's nine. Head to that then.
To lie. And I went further actually. I spoke to the National Federation of Sub-Postmasters, who, if you like, are the sort of trade union of sub-postmasters. And I asked them, was there concerns, did they share the concerns of Alan Bates and his group? And they said no, they backed up the Post Office. So when we get to the inquiry, and I'm really looking forward to giving evidence, I actually championed the inquiry, I wanted the inquiry to take place. I'm sure that will all be confirmed. What I want to see is people who cause this.
Well, that's what you're saying now. Back then you weren't. And you weren't exactly in you were in a good position to do something. So
all the police investigations
too late now.
Need to be held account for their lies and perverting the course of justice. And I want
guilty
to
as
see
charged.
Sub-postmasters, the victims, not just exonerated, but properly compensated too.
Okay, so we're talking about 2010. It's now 2024. I'm just going to take you back
14
to the question
years
I asked
ago.
you a moment ago.
Madness.
Do you think that Alan Bates deserves a face-to-face apology from you?
He should have one.
Well, I have actually already said I wish I'd seen him after the first letter.
So would you apologise now?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I wish I'd seen him after the very first letter he wrote to me.
Because you didn't believe him. You didn't
I'm pleased I saw him
do the right stuff. You have the opportunity of the lifetime there, mate.
See him, and
You should divide your...
I really wish I'd seen him right at the start, and I wish I'd seen through the post office lies. And I'm sure all the many post office ministers during this period feel the same as I do.
I think you knew about it, though.
Watching us right now, what would you say to him?
I'm sorry I didn't see you immediately. Absolutely.
And you'll meet him.
I'm very happy to meet him. In fact, I reached out and asked to meet him. So I'm very happy.
You have already done that?
Yes, I've reached out to him. We haven't met, but I've offered to meet him.
Sir Ed Davey, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Ed Davey for you, MP. Little Democrats.
There
you go, guys.
Good to have you with us this morning. John
Please subscribe to my channel on Sign Gems. Will the force be with you always. This is my friend Sparking Jimbo. Every Friday, free type in ITF Friday things or heels. Radio station shout to my friend. You name it. Shane, listen to Lou every Friday at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Every Friday, live show. It's a good show to listen to. And this is my friend John, the last show every Sunday at 9 to 12 p.m. live on the Waking Radio. Nice show. Please subscribe on Sign Gems. All the tits. Sometimes lies, sometimes tell the truth. Are you the leader, little Pat leader? Do not believe him. He's squashing on Sign Gems, my baby. Bye, everyone. It's daily. Bye, everyone.